Welcome to the 3-3 portal, this powerful, powerful day of creation, communication, and positivity. It's a very good day, very important day to stay optimistic, to be positive, to focus on what feels good, to believe stories, to tell yourself stories that are positive, that are in alignment with what you actually want, not what you don't want. As I'm sure you are feeling it, the month started off with a very new beginning type of energy because of the new moon that we just had on February 27th. And this is such a beautiful way to start this month. Like, wow. All I can say is wow, because I feel March has this very, very powerful creation energy attached to it. We are in such a magically creative time as it is because of all the stuff that's going on in the heavens, because of the big astronomical shifts that are taking place right now, February 28th, with the 7 planetary alignment. Like, my God, there was just, it's like back to back to back. I feel like every single day there is some type of unique alignment, some type of activating alignment, which there is. And today's energy is no different. The 3-3 portal, the number 3 is so incredibly symbolic and represents creation. So it's like taking a look at what have you created in the past and how has that worked out for you and how has that been beneficial or not beneficial for you, and then how are you choosing to now consciously create. The number 3 is also very connected to communication. It is about how you communicate with yourself, how you communicate with other people, how you communicate or share your creativity, your creations, your wisdom. And because today's energy is vibrating with the number 3, it is actually also vibrating with the number 6, because not only is it the 3rd day of the 3rd month, we are also in a universal 9 year, which if you add the 9 to the 3 and the 3, you actually get 15, which will equal out to a 6. So not only is the month and the day equaling out to a 6, the 3-3, but in addition to that, when you add the year to it, the entire number collectively resonates at the frequency of 6. Now, 6 is all about integration. 6 is a very balanced number. 6 is also the number of family, of union, of partnership. But it most prominently carries this energy of like life lesson integration, meaning what have you learned up until this point? What life lessons have you actually integrated within yourself? Where have you really clicked with the messages that some of these life lessons have been delivering to you? Where have you maybe missed some of the messages that some of these life lessons have been trying to teach you, right? It's about recognizing, are you in illusion, delusion, or are you in reality? Are you in this very conscious creation energy where you recognize how much power you have to create your reality, where you recognize how much power you have to mold and bend a reality to your will? And all that is required of you to do this is alignment. And something I want to talk about, because this is a hugely powerful manifestation portal as well. But here's how manifestation portals work, okay? These are always like these special types of days, or any days where we have a duplicate of a number, like the month and the day are in alignment or on the same number. These days are powerful manifestation portals, but in order to manifest anything, you actually must be in vibrational alignment to the thing that you desire. So it's not enough to have wishful thinking. It's not enough to just be in this like sort of delulu, energy where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm going to get everything that I've ever wanted today. Yeah, you can if you are in vibrational alignment, meaning that you're not just thinking those thoughts, but you actually feel that way, that you actually believe those thoughts, that you actually believe what you're saying, right? So vibrational alignment also means that you're not in a fear state. You're not in lack state. It means that you are fully open and ready to receive. You are fully in this belief that yes, everything that I want, everything that I desire is already coming to me. It's like this, you attract, don't chase energy, right? Because in order for us to manifest anything in life, and this is something that I've had to learn as well, in order for me to draw anything into my life, I have to be in alignment with attracting that in, with being the magnet, being in the right vibrational frequency to attract those things, those experiences in that bring me that extra fulfillment and joy that I'm already feeling. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not enough to wishful think. It's not enough to just be in this energy of like, oh, yay, I hope it comes to me today. You attract it in, you call it in, you magnetize it in with your energy, with you deciding that you are worthy, by you deciding that, I'm going to do something different every single day, show up differently every single day so that I can actually be in resonance, be in vibrational alignment to the things that I want. Because while today is a really powerful manifestation portal, it does require alignment. And it doesn't mean that something is going to come in for you necessarily that day. It means that this day actually brings really deep awareness about where you are still misaligned, where you are still not in vibrational harmony with the lifestyle, with the feelings, with the energy that you are desiring to be in. And I want to break down a little bit like the strengths of the number 3 energy, and then also some of the weaknesses. And I want to kind of break it down so that you have an opportunity to identify within yourself which one you are embodying, because that's the whole point of today. Okay. The 3-3 portal is all about helping us to identify where we are misaligned, but it's also helping us to identify where we are already in alignment. So today is like this massively heightened energy for spiritual growth, awakening, and clarity. An opportunity to tap into your inner wisdom. Today is also a day where it's really, really important to embrace flexibility, right? So it's not about controlling our manifestations. It's not about forcing them, but about being flexible. Again, it's about vibrationally aligning. When I want to vibrationally align to something that I want to receive, the first thing that I have to do is relax. And this is something that I've come to recognize now. I used to be in this energy of always like pushing or forcing or being very forceful with my actions in terms of like trying to do things to make it happen. Where I realized that that's the complete opposite of what needs to happen. If I want things to come into my life, then I need to be in an energy of receiving. And in order for me to be in an energy of receiving, I need to chill. I need to relax. I need to be in this complete energy of peace. Why? Because how do you feel when something that you really wanted manifested? You feel at peace. You move into this sense of like, oh my God, okay, it finally happened. Now I can relax. Now I can be at peace, right? That's the energy that you need to embody now. If you want it to come in, when you embody that, you signal to the universe that, you know what, I'm just chilling, I'm relaxing, and I'm fully trusting you because what I desire is already here. So I'm going to embody that feeling that it is already here. I'm going to embody this feeling that everything is okay and I can relax. That I don't need to force, that I don't need to chase, that I don't need to be in this energy of constant action. And it's not about not taking action. Action is a huge, very important aspect to actually the 3-3 portal, but it's the right action, not hasty action. So today is a really good day to get very, very clear on like those bigger dreams that you have. Clarify them. Think about it and feel into it and like, does it still align? Does it still resonate? Is it something that you still want? Can you release the fear of failure? Can you release all worry and doubt about those big dreams? And can you just fully embrace and allow yourself to be in this energy of like, yeah, it's done. It's mine. So today is a very important day to align with your desires and become a vibrational match to those desires. And if you feel like you're not, then today is a day to kind of sit down and take a little time to sort of figure that out. How or why am I not in alignment? How am I not in alignment vibrationally? What am I still thinking? What am I still feeling? What am I still doing that is like self-sabotaging, that is not loving that is narrating a story in my mind that says, no, it's not going to happen, or no, I can't have that, or no, I'm not worthy of that, or no, I'm not capable of that. Because that's the stuff that throws us off. That is the stuff, and those are the stories, those are the narratives that keep looping within us, that actually keep everything at bay, that keep pushing the things that we desire away. This is a time to use your unique ideas to build relationships, to build partnerships, to set intentions, to manifest dreams, to embrace positive change, to like actually let yourself experience positive change. It's an excellent day to express your deeper feelings and emotions through art, some kind of artistic endeavor. Art has an unparalleled power, and I think people really underestimate how much we can express ourselves, how much we can express our emotions through art. So I don't care if you're doodling on the side of a notebook or on the back of a receipt. Like, you never know what kind of simple act of creation today can activate a bigger idea or some kind of a deeper insight or an aha moment, or help you integrate a lesson learned. Like, there's so many different ways that these things can happen. And sometimes I feel like in the spiritual community, we overcomplicate these things. It doesn't have to be, and it isn't complicated. I find that usually in the most mundane, in the most simple ways is how we actually end up getting like some type of really awesome idea. Or it's because it's always when you're in the most sort of like relaxed state, when you're just really chill, when you're just like laid back and you're relaxed and you're like at peace and you're just like right, doing something. That's when oftentimes most things can come through for us because of the fact that you're relaxed. And I think one of the biggest highlights of today's energy is how relaxed are you? How much do you allow yourself to be in this energy of trust, of surrender? Because when you are in this constant pushing kind of energy where you're trying to push the energy, you're trying to push to make things happen, that's not surrender and that's not trust. That is when you are resisting the flow of life, because the flow of life doesn't strain to flow, it just flows. So when you are in this overly active state, that's when you are actually in resistance to life. You're trying to control and make things happen. And the reason why people are in that energy is because they're not trusting themselves. They're not trusting a higher power. They think that they have to do everything themselves. They feel like they have to like accomplish all their goals by themselves or through some kind of hard work, right? So really take some time today to just tap into some form of creation, to also trust yourself, like listen to yourself and listen to any type of guidance that you're receiving today specifically, or this week, about communication. But like today especially is really, really good for communication. The number 3 vibrates at the frequency of communication. So it's a wonderful day to communicate with others, to communicate compassionately, with kindness, with love, to express yourself, to be honest about something, to reveal a truth. Even if that truth is uncomfortable, even if that truth is, something that other person may not want to hear. It's very important that you express it, because today the energy favors you. It favors authentic communication. And because this is such a like highly spiritual day, like a highly spiritual number or frequency, it's a very, very good day to also connect with your higher self. A very, very good day to, and actually you may notice that you have heightened intuition. So connect to your intuition, listen to your intuition, listen to the guidance, like just sort of like that gut feeling of what you should be doing, or where your attention or your focus needs to go today. It's also a very, very good day to communicate with your angels, your guides, higher spiritual energies like ascended masters or God. Today's energy also highlights your social nature and your ability to inspire other people. So it's a very good day to even reflect on that. How am I socially? How do I engage others? How do I communicate with others? How does that make me feel? How does that make others feel? Number 3 also vibrates at the frequency of infinite possibilities and potential. So this is like new directions, new solutions, new ideas. There's a lot of new in this energy today. So silencing the mind, quieting yourself, moving into surrender, moving into a place of peace and relaxation is going to be very helpful to channel in some type of guidance or to receive some kind of new inspiring idea. And it's also a very, very good day today to get really, really honest about how you have been holding yourself back. What lies have you been telling yourself and believing? What false narratives have you been running on a loop within your mind? And my throat chakra is really cracking right now as I'm talking about this. So I think there's a lot of you out there who really, really need to be very truthful with yourselves. I'm hearing like getting really honest with yourselves of how you have held yourself back, and also being honest with other people. I feel because the relationship paradigm here is still very, very much unfolding, and like Venus just went retrograde, right? So there's like such a highlight here, and Mars just finished a retrograde. So the masculine and the feminine energies here are also highlighting a need to bring those two energies back into balance. So this is relationship harmony. This is about not lying to yourself about a connection that isn't working for you, not lying to yourself about a person that isn't willing to change or isn't willing to grow with you, right? It's about getting really, really honest, because these are some of the ways in which we hold ourselves back unknowingly, not even realizing. You think you're doing someone a favor, or you think you're doing yourself a favor by hanging on to a connection that has long expired, that you've long outgrown, that hasn't really worked for you or fulfilled you or made you happy in any way for a really long time, right? And this energy is going to continue playing out in March. This is going to continue to be highlighted for us so that we can finally get real with ourselves and finally detach, let go of those connections, let go of those people that energetically are draining us and siphoning our energy off without really giving or pouring anything back into the connection, into us, into whatever, right? So I want to highlight some of the strengths of today's 3-3 portal energy and the strengths of the number 3, or the frequency, because of course every number, everything always has a positive and negative aspect to it. The positive strengths of today's 3-3 energy are highly, highly creative, okay? This is a very, very creative number. It carries a very creative frequency. So this is something that you can tap into today, right? This is a really good time to start working on something, to write up a script, or to create something with your hands, right? So when you are embodying the strengths of the number 3, you are highly creative. You are bursting with ideas, thoughts, dreams, and musings that must be let out to the world. So it's like this insatiable desire to share that creativity with the world, to turn those ideas into real plans, something tangible, something real. Another aspect is highly artistic. So this is about tapping into your artistic side with a deeply curious nature to convey abstract ideas and find solutions that others may miss. So on portal days like this, you could get, like I said, something very deeply profound in terms of an idea or something that comes through for you to create or to work on, like a solution that you can provide that maybe others didn't think of yet. The number 3 also represents like good communication skills. So it's a really good day to tap into the frequency or the energy of being a good communicator, being good at expressing yourself, or being more charismatic when you speak. When you're embodying the frequency of number 3, you also have good social skills. This means that you're outgoing, you're friendly, you enjoy being around other people, and you have this charming magnetism about you. You're also very optimistic, so you have a very positive outlook, like on life, on yourself, on your circumstances, situations that you're in. And you have this ability to genuinely be in the present moment, to just be happy right here, right now, regardless of what's going on in your life. So there's this very deep optimism that the number 3 carries. And it was interesting actually, because this morning as I was preparing for the video, I kept seeing a lot of chickadees flying around. So there was like little chickadees all over. It was like God was like highlighting them for me. So, and chickadees actually, I looked up the spiritual meaning, and are also a symbol of optimism, a symbol of joyfulness and playfulness. So it was very, very interesting that today's frequency brought a lot of chickadees around. They were even actually flying very close here around my deck, coming very close to the window. So there was definitely a message, I feel like, from spirit coming through about being in this very joyful, very relaxed, very trusting, surrendering kind of energy today. Another one of the strengths of number 3 is being highly original. So embracing unique thinking and creative expression. Are you tapped into that, or are you embodying that? Another aspect is like high energy. So it carries this very playful, very thriving, upbeat, engaging type of energy. And this is typically like where people thrive, right? So it's like today's energy is asking, are you in that frequency, in that energy of thriving, of being engaged, of being upbeat, youthful, and positive with like this incredible zest for life? Are you embodying these qualities? And that being said, today's energy also really highlights this quality of nurturing the inner child. So with this high energy and engaging youthful vibrancy, can you tap into nurturing the inner child today? Can you be a child at heart, never missing an opportunity to have fun, right? Children never miss an opportunity to have fun. They're always tapped in and plugged into that. And it's like their feelers are constantly looking for that, are constantly looking to connect with experiences that are fun, that are engaging, that are lively, that are exciting, that are adventurous. So this is about really tapping into expressing all the love and the joy that a child feels. Can you tap into that? Can you be that? Expressive love and joy. Now, as I mentioned, the number 3 also carries its certain weaknesses, right? So the number 3 frequency today is highlighting some of the weaknesses that you may be embodying. And I want you to pay close attention to these weaknesses that I'm about to list off, because I want you to just see if you recognize any of them within yourself. Just as with the positive ones I've listed, with these negative ones too, like look at both and just kind of gauge, where are you on this sort of spectrum? Are you engaging more of the strengths of this energy today? Are you tapped into and embodying more of the positive aspects of the number 3, or are you embodying more of the negative aspects of the number 3? And there's no right or wrong here with either of it. It's all just about awareness. It's all just about you recognizing where you are so that you can course correct, because that's the whole entire purpose of life. It's the whole purpose of learning and growing. This is how we learn and grow, is through recognizing where we are on the path, where we need to make tweaks, where we need to adjust our mindset, adjust our beliefs, adjust our thoughts, and how we approach life itself, how we approach ourselves, right? So that we can really continue to strive towards that forward momentum, so that we can continue consciously choosing to tap into embodying those strengths instead of the weaknesses. So some of the weaknesses of the frequency of number 3 are scattered and unfocused energy. So this is like a difficulty focusing on one thing at a time. This is also a difficulty with following routines or sticking to routines. You might start following it, but then maybe very quickly drop off. And when your energy is very unfocused, when it's very scattered like that, where you're kind of constantly like squirrel, right? Like something is always capturing your attention and you can't stay focused on one thing. What ends up happening in your life is that real life goals and progress end up falling to the wayside. Like it ends up being something that's constantly on the back burner, right? And you're not progressing in life because you can't focus long enough to create something of value, or to begin and stick to a new routine that is actually going to be perhaps life-changing for you. So just kind of check in with yourself and see where you are with that. Another weakness is hasty or poor decision making. So this is where you're just jumping into decisions without taking any time to tap into your intuition, to see what your intuition is actually saying about that person, that thing, that opportunity, whatever. So a good question to ask yourself here is, do I have a tendency to decide on things too quickly without really thinking it through? And do I have a tendency to ignore my intuition when it comes to decision making? So when my intuition is talking to me, when it's saying something, when it's nudging me towards something, am I listening? Ask yourself that. Another weakness of number 3 is sensitivity to criticism. This means that you easily get hurt by other people's opinions or criticism. This also means having a very fragile ego, right? It is always the ego that gets hurt. Once you mature to a certain level spiritually within yourself and the ego starts to take a back seat and your spirit is guiding the way, you don't get offended by other people's opinions. You don't get offended by what someone is doing or not doing. You don't take things personally, is really what I'm trying to say, because that fragile ego has been remedied, healed, like repaired to a certain degree. It has matured to a point where the ego no longer serves this purpose of constantly being in this like defensive energy, but rather in this more mature ego energy where it's just helping you to make actually better decisions, where it's helping you to have a healthy dose of ego, right? Because we all need ego. It's not about killing off the ego completely. It's about transmuting it and transforming the ego to serve you instead of it serving itself. So check in with yourself at this time. Do you have a fragile ego that perhaps needs a little schooling or a little bit of nurturing? Another weakness represented by the number 3 is overindulgence. So do you have a tendency to overindulge in things even when you know it's not good for you? What this really means is that you're in an energy of preferring pleasure over growth or over gain. Meaning that this might be accompanied with a mindset that if it isn't fun, lighthearted, or pleasurable, then you would rather not participate. And I mean, is that realistic? No, right? Because sometimes we have to do things that are not fun. Sometimes we have to make sacrifices which are not fun to make in order to grow. So ask yourself at this time where you overindulge in your life. Is it with food? Is it with an overconsumption of like social media or constantly watching something, giving your attention and focus to things outside of yourself? Like, where are you overindulging? Another weak aspect here is actually being distracted by beauty. So this is like shiny object syndrome, where you could be more focused on like how pretty or how aesthetic something is rather than looking at sort of like a deeper value behind it, right? So I just want to use this as an example, and I'm absolutely not judging anyone. But when the Stanley Cups came out, right? And it was like this huge trend, hugely popular thing that like everybody was super into and everybody was jumping on that bandwagon, right? Except for me, because I don't follow trends. And then it was getting like absolutely nuts where people were getting whole entire collections of these things, okay? Not realizing and not doing the research, not going deeper, right? As I mentioned here, distracted by beauty, not going deeper to find out whether they were even good to use or whether it was even healthy or what materials they were made of. And then, oops, turns out that they were made of materials that were leaching certain chemicals into the drinks. And then people were tossing them in the garbage. And it was like, what? So this is just like one example of not all that glitters is gold kind of thing, right? And so this highlight here of being distracted by beauty. Are you someone that jumps on every trend? Are you someone that often buys into, you know, all these different things TikTok stores sell and influencers sell and like all these trendy things even stores sell, right? That so many people will hop on and get into and follow and then realize later that like, oh, that's actually kind of pretty poor quality, or oh, that actually isn't even like Temu, however you want to say it. That's another example of this actually. How many people will go and they will buy things on that app basically kind of knowing that the quality is shit because there's multiple people out there making videos about, you know, what I expected, what I got kind of situation with Temu, and like realizing how some of those products are falling apart so quickly. Like this is all like very, very cheaply made stuff. So can you just kind of observe that within yourself? Look at that within yourself. How much do you buy into that stuff? How much do you buy into the latest trend? Or how much do you have shiny object syndrome, where if it's like shiny and pretty, then you get it? It's just like stick-on nails is actually another example I want to use right now, because my daughter just got some over the weekend. And I've been telling her so many times, I'm like, you don't need these. Like, it's crap. It's garbage. All it does is it creates waste, because it's literally like a disposable thing, right? You stick it on and half the time it ends up falling off the same day. And it's, oh my God, just garbage, right? Garbage. And then the crazy part is she can grow incredibly beautiful nails, because we all can. It just kind of runs in the family. But I'm like, you know, these are those things where we have to really start evaluating and looking at what we spend our money on. And there's actually a highlight under this 3-3 portal about how you spend your money and how we are, because of the Venus retrograde as well that's taking place simultaneously, right? So Venus is highlighting that right now. What do you spend your money on? And does that actually have deeper value other than the surface sparkle? And the last two things I want to mention here that are considered sort of weaker aspects of this number 3 energy is 1, being naive, and 2, being shallow. So when it comes to being naive, are you putting yourself in bad situations, getting burned by others? You know, are you being too naive? Are you not doing enough research, not looking into things, or again, not trusting that intuition when it comes to certain people, certain situations, so that you don't get burned, so that you don't get screwed over, right? And then the last aspect is shallowness. Do you prefer to live on the surface of life, on the surface of relationships? Do you stop yourself from going deep because that depth scares you, because that depth means that it's going to evoke some kind of deeper feeling from within you? And is that something that you run from? Is that something that you hide from? So all in all, I feel like this energy is really just giving us an opportunity to look at ourselves more deeply, with more real and honest eyes, to look at the ways in which we misalign ourselves, the ways in which we don't allow ourselves to master our power, ways in which we give away our power, and what things we give our power away to. So as a final closing message, I just want to mention that everything, like, trust that everything is in its perfect order right now. Even if you can say you checked off every single box for the weaker aspects, that you are currently embodying those weaker aspects of the number 3, even if that's the case, it's still okay. Trust that you are on the right path. Trust that you were meant to hear this video, that you were meant to have awareness of those things, those aspects within you, or have awareness of the energy that you are embodying. Because when you have awareness, that's when you can really change. That's when you can start to pivot. That's when you can start to focus on solutions, right? And recognize, like, man, I do that. You know, what can I do to stop doing that? How can I replace maybe my Temu shopping addiction with something else, something that is more productive, and stop wasting my money on useless, disposable, one-time use, items, just because I'm looking for that emotional hit, that dopamine hit, the 5 minutes of pleasure, because that's what I find those things do, is it gives you like 5 minutes of pleasure and then it dies down real fast. Especially when, 24 hours later you go to use it or you go to touch it and it falls apart. I've seen so many videos. Oh my God, I laugh so hard. But anyway, my point here is, don't look back. Keep moving forward. Keep reminding yourself that you are on a trajectory of forward momentum, that you are moving towards more abundance, more joy, more awareness, more consciousness. And how that journey looks for you is, that's only your business. That is your private journey. What others want to say about it is their own opinion, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to influence you in any kind of way. And that at this time, it's important just to stay aware and stay conscious. So no matter where you are on this path right now, where you are with any of the stuff that I mentioned in today's video, just know that you are on the right path. You are on track to becoming a better version of yourself. So that's everything I have for this 3-3 portal message. If you would like to work with me or connect with me, check out the description box for all the details. I wanted to mention that there is still some space for the upcoming live Q&A on this Friday, 7th of March at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a question, if you have some kind of a life situation or circumstance, something difficult or challenging that you are moving through at this time that you could really use some guidance on, I am providing this service for free to anyone that needs that kind of help. So send me an email, send me your question, give me a little bit of background story for context so I understand what's happening in your life. And then let me know what your questions are, and I will be happy to answer them in Friday's live at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.